Hello, my name is Gradye Parsons. I'm the Stated Clerk of the General Assembly, and this is the fourth in a series of podcasts about the ruling elder. Since it is the fall and we are having nominating committees and congregations looking for elders to serve in the church, this is a good time to talk about what it means to be an elder. Today I close out that discussion by looking at the very last sentence in the Book of Order in section G304, and it talks about elders, and it says this: "Those duties which all Christians are bound to perform by the law of love are especially incumbent upon elders because of their calling to office and are to be fulfilled by them as official responsibilities." Now, most folks, when they think about being an elder, don't think anything about the word love. They think about duties, they think about meetings, they think about obligations, they think about all kinds of to-dos that they're going to have to accomplish as an elder. And so in some sense, they look at being an elder as a project. But being an elder is not a project. Being an elder is a process. It's part of your spiritual development. It's a recognition by your sisters and brothers in your church that you are a spiritual leader, and it's about developing those skills as a spiritual leader. And this particular part of the Book of Order really spells that out when it talks about the law of love as being an official responsibility of the elder. Now, the law of love basically is, of course, to love God with all our heart and to love our neighbor as ourselves, to think about the other first before we think about ourselves, and to live an unselfish life. And as elders, that's part of your special responsibility as you live out your life in the church and do your witness in the church. I asked a class of elders when I was teaching one time what they thought the law of love meant. And one of those elders, Lillian, who's a member of the New Providence Church in Maryville, Tennessee, told this story. When she was raising her boys in the Dakotas many, many years ago, one of them was a particular mischievous boy and got into some poison. And this was pre-911 day. So she called the nearest police station, and they said, the only way you're going to get help is to drive to a hospital 100 miles away where they have a poison center. Well, there were two problems with that. First off, she didn't have a car, and two, 100 miles, the little boy probably wasn't going to live. Well, just as she was finishing this phone call, she looked out in her driveway, and a state trooper pulled up in her driveway. He got out of his car with his spouse. They came into the house, and it turns out he was a Presbyterian elder. And he had brought his wife. The wife babysat the other two boys, and the state trooper took her and her son to the hospital where he's alive and well today. An example of putting others first and selfishly. Those state troopers don't drive around with their wives or husbands in the car, but this trooper made the extra effort to help this woman's life. Part of being a Christian, of course, is living out this law of love. And for elders, as they live out their life in the church, not just in board meetings, not just making decisions, but really living out their life as a witness for Christ, this is a very important part of their duties, is to understand that the law of love, the law of unselfishness, the law of putting others first is really an obligation upon them and on their heart, not to live out as an obligation, but really to live out as that sense of love in their own heart for what God has done for them. So I want to encourage nominating committees, and I want to encourage those of you who are discerning whether you're being called to be an elder or to serve again as an elder, to really look carefully at this particular chapter in the Book of Order. It contains what the real description of an elder is, what your real responsibilities are as we have understood them in the Reformed Church, not sitting around a table, but really witnessing in the life of your congregation and the life of the community where your congregation serves. Next week we'll begin talking about where is God leading the church, and I hope you'll continue to follow these broadcasts and be part of that conversation. Thank you very much.